Stevie B, Jeremy R.
Bradford A.
Look at
Hey, Bradford A. How you doing?
We are in Nanuet.
Yeah, easy for no one to say.
Nanuet, New York. We got a show. It's Thursday. We got a show tonight in Albany.
Yes.
So we're gonna drive to Albany soon, but first we're gonna do this. We're having a great week. You guys having a good time?
Oh man, are we having a good time? Listen, Jeremy's a very happy man usually, right? He's very happy. So he works a lot at the hospital.
Yes.
And he does like 74 shifts in a row so he can come out on the road with us. He's very generous, right?
I don't think that's the only reason he does 74 shifts, but
well, he likes to get paid, but sometimes he has to cram them all in. That sounded weird. All the shifts in so, we could have them.
That's right.
Because we need them. But
Yeah.
he was especially happy this time because he was excited after our first holiday show.
Yeah.
And he just said, this really show makes me very happy. And I'm happy to be here. And I'm happy that it's a holiday show.
Well, and that's the funny thing. Jeremy didn't know. Jeremy's never seen this show.
He was worried in Philadelphia. He was watching like, what's going on?
Well, yeah, because we arrived early in Philadelphia to kind of get a run through, and he's watching, and I could see his eyes kind of widen a little bit, like, what is this going to be? And because he's seen our comedy show, I don't want to say hundreds of times, but tens of times.
Yeah, probably
close
times.
to 100.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes,
Yeah.
Jeremy.
Yeah.
There he is. Podcast voice. Go ahead,
regular voice.
Go ahead, Go ahead, Batman.
So
what do you think when
what were your fears, number one, and how were those fears allayed if they were?
Well, I don't know if fear is the word, just more curiosity.
Yeah.
It was going to be mysterious.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what we all holiday shows. That's what we strive for.
And the reason is because you guys had always kind of talked about it a little bit while we would be driving.
Sure.
Like, right. So that was really kind of the only. That's the only thing I really heard was kind of what you guys were talking about in the car.
Right. And
then all of a sudden,
it's a show.
It's a show. Dates are booked. Tickets are selling, and I have no clue.
Yes.
And you guys know, seriously, and I think I told some of these at some of the shows, I'm going to be the first to make fun of stuff, right? I'm going to be the first to just sit there and literally be like, really? So I went into this week going, I'm going to laugh a lot.
Hey,
because for all the wrong reasons.
Right? Yeah,
like
whether it's on purpose,
right,
like whether they want me to or not. Yeah.
But when I and even seeing them practicing, I was like, okay, I see how this is going. I see this is going somewhere.
Yeah.
And then to see it actually from start to finish, I was caught up.
Hey, it's kind of interesting though, right? Because you bring up a good point. Like by the time we get on the road with our other show, it's been kind of done, right?
Yeah.
A bunch. But this was Jeremy was sitting in the club watching us work the bits.
Yeah.
And then go through the whole show, and then 200 plus people come in there, and then you were able to show them the show for the first time, and he got to
see the process a little bit.
The process of it. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So watching the practice, I could tell, and I don't normally. I mean, Bradford's good at, and Steve as well too at making things work, right? Like. It was going to work. Sure. It was just how it was going to work.
That's good.
Right? You guys were going to get a show. It was going to be a great time. It was just how it played out. So I got to see it from start to finish. And I'll tell you, the music started, the show started, because you guys see me, I take pictures, I take videos. And so I'm always trying to see how I'm going to capture them. And so when the show started, I got caught up, man. I got caught up in the music. I got caught up in, I love the holidays. So I felt like it was Christmas time, right? Yeah, skip Thanksgiving, skip all that stuff.
We kind of did skip Thanksgiving.
It immediately was
Sorry,
Christmas.
everybody.
So
we got everybody ready for like Christmas tomorrow.
And and Brad and Steve has such a good chemistry on stage, and the chemistry plays out. And you know how the movie critics give like a couple sentences of a movie. If I was to give a
little log line,
like a quick little thing, and it's here. I was gonna say, if I had to give a critique, if this was in print,
oh boy,
I would say that this show is a friendship for the holidays.
Ooh, that's very
nice.
good.
Very nice.
So I'm gonna hand that for you guys, and I really, seriously, guys, awesome. I hope that you guys all get a chance to see this.
I know,
because the great thing about these shows is people come like just as a single ticket or by themselves, they always leave with a friend.
Man, that's
Right?
true.
They always make friends, and that may develop into them coming back to another show with the friend they met.
We have groups of people that come now.
Yes.
Friends that met
At
through
our shows,
our events.
Whether it was the a comedy
Pork
show,
Chuck
whether it was Pork Chuck.
originally, and then now Circle the Jackal,
community
or
building.
online. So
Community
it's
building.
awesome.
That's great.
That's why we do this. And when it's great when I get up on stage and I see people that I know.
Oh yeah.
Right? It's just like, there's so and so. Hey, there she is. Like, so it's really cool.
Yeah, it's always a room full of familiar faces, but it's always fun when there's new faces, and thankfully there's always been new faces at every show, and hopefully they become part of our community at large. But yeah, it's been interesting kind of finding the vibe for this.
I gotta say that it is very Rat Packy.
Yeah,
it really is. Like,
and I've been trying to.
I feel that way up there with you.
I've been trying to lean into that a little.
Yeah,
I think you have too.
Yeah, it's it's really, I don't know, man.
Well, because you
we
watch.
Can't keep kissing our own asses.
No, but
I kissed it. I kissed both of them. Just there.
You kind of watch those old specials, those old TV specials, whether it was Dean Martin or Frank Sinatra or whatever, and like. Nowadays, it seems weird to just kind of stand up and sing a song that everybody knows, that everybody likes, that people have sang thousands, millions of times.
Yeah.
And just do it. And so like one of the things that we're trying to do is kind of give a nod to that, and also kind of wink to you that we know we're doing something right. But and there's also moments.
And then we're being our dumb selves.
We're being our dumb selves, and then we're sometimes being like straightforward, just like present and honest with you, like as well.
Yeah.
So it's a fun thing to figure out, and hopefully everybody's been enjoying it so far. And it's also nice just to be with you guys.
Yeah, it's always fun, and we're gonna book a lot more holiday shows next year.
That's kind of the initial thought.
I hope so.
It's gonna happen, I think.
Yeah. This is,
and there's gonna be a bus.
The same conversations.
Hey.
Over and over again.
We can make it happen on the holiday.
Well, we have a lot more props
and a lot more merch.
That's true.
Like, and if we string it together, I don't know. We'll see what the families allow. See how many days we can be gone. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. So this will come out probably tomorrow. So tonight, if you're listening to this on time, we expect you to. Don't wait. Listen to this when it comes out.
Subscribe.
Yeah. First of all, here we are on a podcast. We've been doing this for 5 years. If you haven't subscribed to it on like a podcast app, you're making it hard for yourself. So whether you have an Apple phone or
and you'll be helping us.
That's true. Yeah.
Just subscribe.
So Apple Podcasts, Spotify, we're on iHeart, I believe, SoundCloud, wherever podcasts exist, we are there. So then when a new episode comes up, you'll just be notified, and you won't have to search it out, or listen on your browser or anything like that. It makes it super simple. So tonight we're in Newtown, Connecticut. If you're listening on Friday, Newtown, Connecticut at the Edmond Town Hall. And then Saturday we're in Boston, and there may be a ticket. If someone canceled, there may be a ticket or two, but though they've told us it's sold out.
Yeah,
but
Connecticut, there's still tickets.
Yeah. Well, Connecticut's a huge room.
Huge. Yeah.
Yeah, because
enormous.
Boston said it was sold out, but I went to the website and you could still buy a ticket. So I don't know. I don't know if you like go down to the process and they're like,
they might get people who are sick and cancel or whatever, and then they know they're going to sell them. So we're looking forward to it. It was great last night. The stage was great. Connecticut stage is great. The stages are much better for this for us. I mean, actually, Governors, it's a stage. A little more room would have been better, but
sure.
You
were a little bit late for your entrance at the Stress Factory in Bridgeport, because you have to go all the way from the stage to the green room, which is through the audience. So you barely made it.
That wasn't that late.
No, but you had a wireless mic, so you could start off stage.
But you're right. Like being able to come right side stage.
Well, heck, I was late because they started the show 5 minutes early and I wasn't dressed yet.
Yes, you were the one. It was so funny because I was like, dude, you got 7 minutes. Because I know I got 7 minutes. And then we hear the announcement and he wasn't even dressed. They started 5 minutes early.
Which never happened.
It's never happened. It's never happened.
Unless someone comes in and says, "Hey, do you guys mind starting early?"
Yes.
Starting early.
He just made the announcement, and you didn't have your shirt, your tie on, nothing. It was
and he introduced us, which also doesn't usually happen. We kind of start the show in a different way, and then all of a sudden I'm getting my stuff on, my costume on, or wardrobe. I guess it's a costume. I'm not whatever. And then the manager of the club's like, "Hey, they just announced you." And I'm like, I know. But we made it work.
Yeah, it was cool.
So today we thought it would be fun to catch up with our good buddy Michael Fairman, because there's a lot happening on General Hospital. Steve is now filming Days of Our Lives.
Yeah.
And we feel like we should get some education.
We should.
About what's happening on the show. And yes, we could read the recaps, but much more fun to talk to our friend Michael Fairman.
Yeah, and I want to hear about the Days of Days event. Like they have the big GH event. You know how the GH has the Graceland one?
Yeah.
Days did one in California, which isn't that convenient
for them.
For the actors.
Yes.
I don't know about the fans, but
right. But I imagine.
But
if you know,
to see, because they invited me to it, because they were going to make an announcement.
Oh, sure.
That I was on the show there.
Was it when we were gone?
Yeah, we were gone. It was that Saturday.
Okay, yeah. So we got a lot of questions to ask him, and we need some education.
But thank you guys. You guys are awesome. There's
yes.
Jeremy Ross. Get your full head in here, Jeremy. There you go.
Thank you guys. I love talking to you at the shows. So come up and say hi. You know, I'm always going to be there taking pictures, sell merch. Thank you guys. You guys always make me feel so special. You make me feel like I'm my own little celebrity at what I do. So I want you guys to know that for sure too. Thank you.
Awesome.
All right, we'll see you out there on the road, and enjoy our talk with Michael. Our good friend Michael Fairman is here. You know him from MichaelFairmanTV.com, where you can get all your news from soaps, entertainment, and whatever else Michael wants to throw at you. Hey, Michael, how are you, man?
I'm good. How are you? It looks like you guys are in some kind of room. We
are.
We share. We share many hotel rooms.
I gotta tell you, Michael. Last night, so Steve and I, we traveled with our buddy Jeremy, and last night they were going to bed, and I hadn't talked to my wife yet, and she's back on the West Coast, so it was late here, and so I was sitting out in the hallway, and I had a hoodie on and a hat, and all of a sudden, one of the hotel employees came up to me. He's like, "Are you staying here?" They thought that I was like some transient that was just sitting in the hallway. We're having a good week. We're playing after we finish with talking to you. We're gonna drive to Albany, and we got about 300 or so people waiting for us up there, which will be super fun.
Yeah, it'll be amazing.
And then we're playing a theater in Newtown, Connecticut on Friday, and then we're playing a sold out show in Boston on Saturday.
Yeah. You guys grind it out like you are.
Man,
are you having fun?
We are having fun. Yeah, I'm getting to the I'm getting a little up in the years right now, and
isn't it fun?
No, it's not. Well, here's the key. The key is sleep.
Yeah,
the key is sleeping,
and sometimes we
choose not to.
Yeah,
and that's a bad choice, everyone.
It is
terrible choice.
Gotta sleep.
I've changed my clock around now. I get up super early.
Yes.
I used to be the late night guy.
Yes.
And I can't do the late night. And I don't know about you guys, but I feel like if I get up early, I get more done in the morning. Like I get I'm not feeling like suffocated. Like I can't get this all done today.
Yeah. For the last 2 years, I've been getting up like at anywhere from 3:45 to 5 a.m. And it's incredible, right? And then we go on the road and everything switches. Like your body's now, like last night I go, oh, the body's getting ready. It's 7 o'clock. Showtime's coming. Now I'm starting to wake up. Like it's so strange, and it really just throws everything off. But it's a lot of fun.
Yes.
So Michael, I want to hear a lot about some things.
Yes. I know you're. Well, I mean, can we just say? I mean, you got your big news came out. You're back at Days of Our Lives on the mothership.
That's it. Yeah, and I was going to ask you about Days of. Is it called Days of Days? Is that what it is? The fan
Day
event?
Of Days. So Day of Days. We saw that you look like you kissed Hope.
Oh, really?
There was a preview.
Ooh.
And they did a big winter preview.
Oh,
and
they
announced Bo and Hope were back. So they had Christian and Peter do a tape message for the audience.
Yes.
And then they went in now, because every year they do these big previews at Day of Days.
Oh.
Years ago, I used to put them together. Now they do it, so 3 years later, you go to the Jumbotron, and there is a moment where Sierra, the way it's cut in the promo, Sierra walks in, it looks like you're kissing that Harris is kissing Hope.
Okay.
Interesting.
We'll see.
So everybody's like, whoa.
Interesting.
Well, so you say you call this a winter preview, but this, let's be real, this could happen in what, like summer 23, summer 24
lives terms, it could be July of 2023.
No, I think we're in April or May now shooting like that far in advance.
That's what I think.
Crazy.
Yeah. When I was talking to the actors, they were 6 months.
Yeah. Hey, can you just give me a quick rundown? I'm just on the day of days. Like what's the event? Like what happens?
So the event is that they do a morning session and an afternoon session. They break up the cast. So there's a first group goes out to meet the fans, does autograph signings and outside at different tables where the fans line up.
Got it.
Meanwhile, the other half is doing press rotations with us, talking to the print and electronic press.
Oh, interesting. Very
smart.
So
for instance, like right now, I'm editing all the interviews that I did with the cast.
That's awesome.
So that comes out. Jeez, and then they switch after 12 at like 12:01. They switch the rotation. So the people that were outside come into the press, the other ones go out to meet the fans. And then the day concludes at the end around 4 o'clock. They bring all the actors to the stage outside. They do a Q&A with the audience.
Mm-hmm.
They take like 30 minutes to like have the audience ask questions of the cast. And they basically then, like I said, they went to the special announcement that Peter and Christian were back. And then they did the winter preview and then they called it a day. So it's kind of
wow.
That's cool. And then Brandon, the day players played, right? Somewhere that weekend?
Right. So from what I understand, because I was inside doing the press rotation, they performed a few numbers outside at Day of Days. And then the next day they were at the Peppermint Lounge in LA.
Yes, that's correct. Right.
And they did a set there. I didn't go to that, but
cool.
Played.
Awesome.
So I guess the thing is to now, which you guys started with Port Chuck.
Yep.
It's day players.
Yep.
So it's kind of like, well, wait a minute. Isn't Brandon in both?
Yeah, he is. He's working double duty, but we
is Steve in both?
We're yeah, right. Oh geez.
No.
Yeah. No, we're more of like a pop-up band.
Yeah, totally.
I don't know if that's a thing.
It's a pop-up.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure if I just coined that or not. No. I just saw that Nickelback is touring again, so I guess it's time for Port Chuck to go out again.
Go back with Port Charles.
Yeah.
Well, apparently they're doing like I saw some clips online of the day players, and they're spanning like decades. Like
totally.
I asked the guys.
They do span decades.
In more ways than one.
I know.
So they do like numbers from the 50s, 60s, 70s, and then I saw Brandon on a clip singing Watermelon Sugar by Harry Styles.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Steve would never let Brandon do contemporary stuff.
Yeah, I don't let him do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
So it's got to be 80s or rap.
Well, with us, I mean, we had some maybe 80s, 90s.
We just wanted like good time songs that our crowd would appreciate.
That everybody can sing to.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, we wanted to make it a party and not go, what the hell is that song?
Right. Exactly.
Like I've never even heard this. Like even like when you go see your favorite band, right? Or even like Bon Jovi, who might have some songs that he loves, but we don't really love them that much. You're like, don't play those.
Right.
Just play the ones we want to hear.
Play the hits. Play the hits.
Play the hits.
What I know, and what's really hard is when as a singer, when you play original material that nobody knows, and you're doing a live show, like I've done live shows, they're like, they go, that was great, but they don't know it. They don't.
Yeah, they're listening. They're listening, but they're not really.
They're listening, but they're not.
Yeah.
Well, because they have to listen more intently because they don't know it. They can't relax into it and have a good time. So they might be listening. They might be paying attention.
They might enjoy it, but they're
not going to be like,
woo! Right. Yeah.
So
we go to concerts of people like big artists, and they play their newer material, and they're like, but then when they play the hits, it's like you're all singing.
Totally.
Yeah. But I was supposed to go to Day of Days. They asked me to this year, but we were on the road, so I was just interested on. Thank you for that recap because I was interested on how it's broken down.
Yeah, I mean that's the way they've done it for all the years when it was the same thing. It was just downtown at Xbox Plaza. Mm-hmm. I think it's challenging in LA.
Yeah.
To do a fan event. I mean, when I was with Days of Our Lives, we went down to Tennessee.
Yeah, you guys did in Nashville, right?
Nashville. It was 5,000 to 7,000 people a day were there.
Yeah. I got to go back there.
Got to go back. That was like you go there. It's hard to do like downtown LA.
Well, and it's only one day. So to get people to travel to LA for that one day versus like a super soap where it's a weekend or whatever, like it's probably harder to rationalize for people to come out just for that for one day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. I also think they changed the location this year. So it was like not where, I mean, is
Xbox Plaza like Staples Center? Is that what that is? Okay.
Like LA Live outside. It's like where the JW Marriott, and there's an outside on the plaza that kind of attaches to everything. It's a decent space. It's just unless you have a ton of people there, it looks
a little paltry.
Yeah.
So now one of my questions is, with Steve coming on days, like, and them being 6 months ahead, obviously, you know, in your business, you have to kind of have an idea of what's happening currently. But gosh, when you do interviews with people, do they remember what they're doing? No.
What they're doing.
It's so funny you said that, because that's what went on at Day of Days. So I'm literally sitting with, and the way this was everybody was paired. So it was two, except for the day players, which you interviewed all four at the same time.
Sure. Yeah.
So it'd be like two people, right? And I would always ask them, like, they're always like, I don't know where I'm at.
Right.
I'm like, and I go, well, this is, and I'll say, well, I think what happened is, Ava, you're dressed as a clown right now and you're terrorizing Ava or whatever. And they're like, true. And then they're kind of like, oh, okay, yeah. Like, you have to tune them in. It's and the hardest show is Days, because they're so far ahead. So they're not, and they're also, I think it's really difficult from a press perspective, because, you know, you have to edit out half the interview because they're going, I don't remember where I am. I think I'm here. I don't. You know, it happens so often with Days. I just wish they were in a situation to eventually condense the time frame, only because it would make it easier for certain things, right?
Yeah, I didn't know they were going to announce that I was even there, like with that clip. Well, so that's interesting.
Yeah, it's funny because, you know, our schedule for our kind of content producing schedule kind of got thrown into a little bit of chaos when he started filming, because he was doing, but we couldn't tell anybody why we. Do you know what I mean? And I was like, man, if we can't, right. And I was like, if we can't tell anybody why our schedule is so erratic for the next 4 months, that's going to be challenging. So I was so delighted when they made, because it makes our life a little bit easier.
I mean, it's easier when it's out. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's so hard for the actors and everybody to dance around, and you're trying. It just makes it so much easier.
Well, and we know, Michael, like half the cast and crew. Look, I know the cast and crew there. Somebody's going to talk. Right. And it's going to get out either the show can be ahead of it, or they're going to have to go, oh, yeah, we do confirm that. And then it's kind of a bust of an announcement.
Yeah, you missed the opportunity to make an announcement. So anyway. Now, knowing what's happening now, and knowing what you saw on the preview, and knowing what, like, can you give us a little rundown of what's happening now, and maybe speculate? We can speculate about what might happen and how he might.
Well, they're so, but here's my thought. Like, they're islanded from the way it looks.
Yeah,
the way it looks, you know, he's in, I don't know. Like,
okay.
I really don't. I just know that Bo and Hope, you know, Bo is resurrected, and he's now come back out of his cryogenic state. And
so he was in a cryogenic state.
Yes.
Oh yes, in a cryogenic state. And he wakes up and his eyes pops up and he goes, and Miranda Wilson, Megan, the villainess. She's like, oh, speak to me. And he goes, where's Hope? And she's like, or whatever. And she's like, well, and then we just saw the makeout thing with I think was Steve.
Who knows?
Or some other man.
Some other man with spiky hair.
Another spiky hair man.
Another red-faced man with spiky hair.
So I don't know, because that story was played out on Beyond Salem. So I'm not sure. Steve obviously knows. I don't know how they're integrating these people back in.
Interesting, because Beyond Salem was a separate. It was not in line with what was happening on Days. It was using Days characters, and was it in theory like a different, not different universe, but do you know what I'm saying? A different timeline in the world.
Yeah, I mean, it was
I could say this. At least I can say this. I believe, because they were talking about before Peacock took Days from network to streaming, that they were talking about a Beyond Salem 3. Okay, so because the second one got great ratings, so they were like, yeah, okay, let's get ready to do a third one. Is that a possibility? Would you do a third one? I'm like, yeah, sure. Like it was fun, right? So then Peacock took days. So I don't know how they're going to do it. If it's integration, if it's not, so it's going to be interesting. But it's been fun.
Yeah, this seems like the story that would have been on if we did Beyond Salem 3. Now integrated into days. But these were all new scenes, Steve, that you've been shooting. This was not stuff that was shot.
No, this is all new.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been shooting for a couple weeks.
Are there things that will have to be? And granted, we're in daytime, so you don't have to make it all.
Did you not hear that Bo was just frozen and he woke up?
Fair enough.
Oh, it's just been frozen for multiple years. Yeah.
Is there any timeline thing besides someone being dead that they have to rectify to if they were to steer that into the mothership? Like, what things have to be explained? Do you know what I'm saying?
Right. I guess we now, since it's not going to be a limited series and it's going to be on the show, I guess they're going to have to integrate it. Like, so this wasn't some altered thing, is, because we didn't know, like, so Bo, when I was watching Beyond Salem, I'm like, well, is it just a one-off thing? And, it was just for that story, but he's obviously going to be resurrected.
Right.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, are you getting to, let me ask you this, Steve, are you mixing it up with other cast members? Are you just with a little island?
It's limited right now.
Okay.
So that's what I can say.
Yeah.
But it's great to see everybody there. I mean, it's just like, Steve, I love Steven Nichols, dude. He's so funny.
So funny.
He looks amazing too, by the way. Like I'm not gonna say his age. People can Google it, but I'm like, dude, you look amazing. He's like, I don't feel it, and I'm like, dude, stop saying that. You look great. Like seriously.
They all do.
Drake's everybody's been so awesome. So,
and to your point on Brandon Barash's character, so talk about weird how they do stuff on days. So he died as Stefan. He was killed off.
Right.
Comes back as Jake the twin.
Sure.
Jake gets killed. Now he's resurrected by Dr. Rolf. They give him the serum. He's now back to being Stefan Demira.
Oh, and nobody knows it's Stefan? Or do they know it?
Now they do.
Yeah. Now they do. Yeah.
Yeah. But Stefan does, but they've erased Stefan's. He loved Gabby. And
that's right. They were stabby.
He was stabby. And now his mind is all screwed up.
Men talking about stabby.
In love with Chloe. So Stefan and Chloe, he thinks he loves Chloe because there's something messed up with the resurrection in the concoction. Right. So his brain isn't completely.
And that's Nadia, right?
Nadia's Chloe.
Right.
Wow.
Mila Banus is Gabby.
Yeah.
Gabby.
Now, what about Robert Scott?
Bob Wilson.
Yeah, wasn't he somebody else and then somebody else too?
Right. So he was Ben Weston, who started
Ben and Sierra.
Ben and Sierra. He started off as the necktie serial killer turned good guy.
Totally. Everybody loves a redemption.
To be a serial killer on a soap and become a hero.
I played one for 30 years. I mean, I shot 78 people, dude. Like
I think it's 90.
Boy, what is it you?
Ooh, I want the real count. Yeah. So
Rob, they write off Ben and Sierra.
Yeah.
Because Victoria's made it known she's leaving the show. But she's not going to be a regular on the show.
Sure.
So instead of having him stranded there, they create a new character for him, Alex Kyriakis. So the change in the character is his hair is different and he's wearing glasses.
Yep, that'll work.
Playing, which we talked about. Like, did you try to up with hairstyle? Like, so they change his hairstyle, put on glasses, and he's Alex.
Do you remember when Natalia came back as a twin and she just started chewing gum? That was amazing.
That was the difference.
That was it.
Hey.
So that's what they're doing. And but then, like I said, in the promo, at the preview, Victoria comes back for a bit.
Ooh,
got it.
Okay.
All right, let's change gears here.
All right, now we're gonna,
because what you made me laugh is like, doesn't like Ryan, Kevin, or Ryan, whichever
Ryan's
which one doesn't have an arm?
Ryan.
Does he have a hook?
Potentially.
We don't know.
Okay.
Potentially.
So we don't. So
yes.
How many people are? Let me ask the questions now, because I'm actually interested.
Okay. Right.
I know you have a lot to say.
Okay.
How many people has the hook killed?
Well, he's killed. Brando was killed.
Johnny Wachter.
Okay.
Diane almost died.
Right.
So she got hooked.
There's been multiple victims.
Okay, great.
Multiple victims, but only like one big death.
Okay.
Right.
So there's been victims. Okay. So it's not that bad yet.
Well,
not that bad yet.
Do you think there's more deaths coming? Like, because we're coming into, it's November now, so like, I mean, there's no such thing as November sweeps anymore. It would have been early November.
But is there, Michael?
I think there was November sweeps. It just didn't feel like a November sweep. Like, I still think on network, there's still kind of November sweeps.
Or right, because you can tell when like the franchise shows like Grey's Anatomy and Station 19 and all the
Hawaii
and all the Chicago shows do all the
crossover.
Yeah,
like a crossover.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do think there's that. And General Hospital's been very weird lately in terms of like what I don't know what's going on with the hook. So Esme, who many were suspecting was
the hook, yeah,
because they're saying it's a woman,
right? That's what they said, right? Yeah,
right. But Nichols has her like bolted in the Windermere because she
can't get anywhere.
Right, she claims she's pregnant with his child.
Has there been hook activity since she's been locked up?
No.
Ooh, okay.
So we're wondering.
Sure.
I think there's going to be a hook development any minute.
Of course.
Yeah.
A lot of hookers.
But the weirdest thing is, I don't know, Steve, if you know what happened to your Jason's ex Elizabeth and the story with that. That made sense.
Some people said that she might be the hook because she's kind of off her rocker a little bit, right?
That's interesting. But basically, in a story that was kind of doesn't really fit with history, so they finally brought back Jeff Weber, her father.
Okay.
Played by Richard Dean Anderson.
Right.
Billy Moses, who used to be on Falcon Crest, was now Jeff. And they brought in Jeff's wife, Carolyn, who we never saw, to put the pieces together of why Elizabeth's been going off her rocker and why she's like had this weird flashbacks to a staircase where this girl falls down a flight of stairs.
Okay.
So she goes back to her home after 20 years and we've never seen the parents. She goes to them and there's a confrontation where they admit that he had an affair with, so Michael Easton is Finn, who's with Elizabeth romantically on the show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Jeff had an affair with Finn's ex-wife. Somehow, and then Reiko, Finn's ex-wife, and Elizabeth, when she was younger, had a fight on a flight of stairs over the fact that she was cheating on her husband with her father. Makes sense? So, and Reiko goes falling down the stairs. So Elizabeth is to blame for this woman falling down the stairs, who eventually got a weird virus and died in the hospital.
Oh, she didn't die from the stairs.
She fell down the stairs, had to go to the hospital, and then something happened to her in the hospital from the fall, and then she died.
And so this was Finn's ex-wife?
Yes. So now Elizabeth is guilt-ridden that she's responsible for Finn's ex-wife's potential death.
Yes.
She realizes her father cheats on everybody and slept with him.
Right.
Now Finn found out from Elizabeth about the situation, and now he's an addict. So now might start using again.
Oh, because he's so disturbed.
But the point of the whole thing is this was so concocted out of nowhere. Like, I don't know. And they basically were saying that Elizabeth's parents, the mother, Carolyn, when she was a teenager, when she was a young woman, helped her block out the memory, and they put her through all this kind of psychological shit to block out the memories.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But so we don't know to what end they're putting Elizabeth through this. To what end? We don't know.
Right now, exactly. We don't know. I just
if it's just to create conflict between her and Finn, or if it's
what I think.
Okay.
Interesting.
That's because that's a lot of
of backstory for that
to create conflict.
Felt like a lot of backstory for it to go nowhere. And at first I'm like, it's going nowhere. What is the point of this? And now I'm not sure.
Well, and speaking of Weber's, Heather is back. But not Robin Madsen, it's Allie Mills.
Right.
She's a woman and she's kind of nuts. She could maybe wield a hook.
Yeah. I feel like they're gonna have to do two things, because we've all been in daytime for probably collectively 174 years.
Yep.
Okay.
200.
Yes. 200. They got to do a few things. It's not going to be a main character. If it is, they'll go to Ferncliff and try to be redeemed.
Sure.
Or it's going to be someone like a Heather Weber, someone who has name value maybe, that comes back that's not on the canvas that they can either send them off. Oh, they're the hook and send them off.
Where's Nell?
See, I've been thinking.
Ooh, that would be interesting.
Because did she officially die though?
No, well, they think she's dead, and when they last brought her back in scenes with Cynthia Watros at Nell's grave, like a few months ago, Chloe Lanier came back for a guest appearance, but she was as a dead Nell. She was not. It's still.
That's how they should do the story.
Right. Death Nell. That's a thing, right? What's a death knell?
But yeah,
that would be interesting.
Well, because I don't know. I don't think Chloe would want to be on GH full time. I don't think she's got a schedule to be on, but coming in to do something to
wrap it up like that, that'd be amazing.
The thing that they're saying is a through line of the story is they all the people that the Hook has tried to kill or has killed had a connection to Tabyana Ali's character.
Trina. Right.
Everybody that doesn't fit with Nell.
That's true.
Right.
So that's where it doesn't fit.
That's why we have you on the show, Michael.
Right. Yes, thank you.
Investigative reporter.
Totally.
This is what doesn't fit.
Okay.
Because I was with you. I was like, let it be Chloe Lanier. She comes back for several episodes.
Yeah.
And that's revealed that she's alive.
Right.
They put her into Ferncliff.
Well, it's like when we had the text message killer and they're like, let's call Ignacio. Let's make it Diego.
The text message killer. Oh God, yeah. That was like, yeah.
Well, because
this guy remembers everything.
Because initially, I think they initially wanted it to be Logan, Josh, and then they didn't, and so then, and that's the interesting thing with a killer on a soap storyline. You can, if you want to, you can write it without knowing who it's gonna be.
Well, I thought.
Well, you got to kind of plan it a little bit because if it's everyone's connected to Trina, there has to be some payoff to that, right? Like, yeah, you got to have some kind of pieces, but I don't know if they
I
did
actually really love. I think it would be amazing if Bradford's idea was true and it really turned out to be Elizabeth. That would be a complete shockaroo. You know what I mean?
Right.
That would be
shocking.
That would be shocking.
Well, because
maybe that's why they're setting up the psychological part also.
But isn't she losing herself? Like she doesn't remember some of the stuff she does, or no?
She didn't remember until she went and confronted her parents and all came flooding back. She now knows.
Okay.
And she's so betrayed by her parents. And now obviously Finn is struggling with the fact that his wife that he loved had an affair with Elizabeth's husband.
Oh, sure. That you're right. That's a piece too.
And so then they had him going to a group or an addiction group.
Sure.
Alexis happened to be there, of course.
You don't say.
Yes, because of her drinking. So he's struggling right now.
How long ago did this allegedly happen?
It had to be 20, 30 years.
Right. So
she was like 12.
Right. And how old is Finn?
8.
Well, boy, they're playing it. Yeah, I know. It doesn't, the math of this.
Okay. Well, I'm just curious because like the way it sounds like it's like she was like a young person and she pushed another young person down the thing, but then it's Finn's wife.
According to the way they're saying it is all of them were in Doctors Without Borders. The Webbers were away in Africa or wherever and Reiko was a doctor and Finn was a doctor. So apparently during the doctoring and the difficulties of being out in the wilderness, they slept together.
Yeah. That tracks. I get that.
Sure.
Sure. That's the one thing he's gotten all day long.
Right. And then the one thing he got, and then somehow they ended up on a flight of stairs. Elizabeth confronted Reiko. And
because Elizabeth was in Doctors Without Borders too?
No, but Elizabeth somehow was on this island, the Mariana Islands, with her sister Sarah and Reiko. So I don't know if they all were there.
Right.
All right. And she felt there was an argument between Elizabeth and Reiko over her sleeping with her father.
Okay. All right. So now I have to ask about Austin and Mason. What do you know about Austin and Mason? And what is Austin getting into? And can it potentially get him in enough trouble that I can get him out of the way so I can get Maxie back?
Well, it's very interesting. I feel like the way this is being played, it's very confusing. And it's hard. We need to care a little more about the Austin Mason story. Like I feel like
okay.
Who's Mason?
Mason is this really cool guy. He's got the best voice of any actor I've ever met.
He's when the cousin, right, of Austin's Holt's cousin or something.
That's how he presented himself, but he said, "Oh, I'm his cousin." Like it sounded like it could not be true. So I don't know, and I wasn't sure if you did.
Do you think Spinelli has a chance now with Maxie? I hope, because I don't know if it makes sense, Austin and Maxie.
Well, I will tell you.
I can tell you that does not make any sense.
Well,
because
I'll tell you.
Spinelli and Maxie should be together. I mean, they were amazing together. They're amazing together.
When I'm there, I do, and Kirsten and I love working together. So like whether we're supposed to or not, I think we always play. We always try to play
something,
a connection.
Sure,
you
should.
So isn't that what you guys do though? Isn't that, I hear so much from actors, and this is for both of you. Don't you do that though? Like when you're in a scene with an actress or something, do you play like a sexual like do you intentionally put that into it? So if the writers see it, or is it, do you guys put that into a scene even if it's not written in it?
Well, not necessarily. I mean,
I don't mean like I'm gonna go have.
No,
sex.
I've heard people say, I've heard this theory.
Yeah, like if we have our own motivations to try to push something, is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there was always that note, like at some acting classes, like, oh, just any scene with a woman, just she's everything to you.
Make sure your actions you want to have sex with them.
Right.
Like make sure that make that your ultimate action, right? But it's interesting, and we talk about this all the time. Like when we work with the same people for so many years, those relationships are defined. So even if it's not about a sexual connection, like
the history's there.
The history's there, so you don't need the sexual connection to make it interesting. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like, and that's what's great about our job.
Right, and because you care about them in such a way. Like when I work with Kelly Monaco, like our characters don't have that connection, but boy, do we make each other happy.
Those scenes are really good with you and Kelly, by the way. Yeah. Like that seems to work.
Right,
Steve.
and when I work with Carolyn Hennessy, I mean, there is kind of some sexual tension there. That's because
Calm
that's
down.
fun. That's fun. But it's not.
Wait, Carolyn or Kelly Monaco?
With Carol, well, no, I'm saying like when we play
with Diane.
When Diane. Spinelli and Diane play together, like there is kind of like, because I think Carolyn automatically brings that kind of like
she does
energy.
Yeah.
But it's not in the world that Spinelli and Diane would never be together, but they flirt fight sometimes. Do you know what I'm saying? But because they know each other so well, and it's like, and that's what's great about the characters and the storytelling in our genre, is that we can have such clearly defined relationships, and the audience expects a certain energy when they watch it, and they get it, and it's incredibly pleasing to see those relationships that
you don't have to create the foundation, right? Because it's there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what's great about it, is because as soon as a viewer watches, they know our relationship. They know how deep it was. They know exactly what to expect for both of us. And then so that's our foundation. And then we can go on top of that. We don't have to create the foundation anymore when you're on a soap.
Yeah.
So I think to Bradford's, I think the only way this can work is that Austin, we find out he's completely not what we think, and he's
sure
not a good guy or whatever. And he's got Maxie, and obviously it's got to be set up for Spinelli to rescue Maxie. And then
love that.
I mean, that's kind of where, if I was writing it, where I would go with it, because you need to up the stakes for it all to be like those two to come together.
Right.
So Spinelli to the rescue of her in a dire situation with Austin.
Right. Whatever. If he is into some nonsense, she gets pulled in somehow.
She gets pulled in, and Spinelli, because he figures everything out, saves her. And finally, there's a kiss, and we're like, "Yay!"
Right. And society setups can be sold for millions.
There you go.
But that couple was always been a fan favorite. Spinelli.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, we love working together, and you
guys definitely caught something for sure.
We did.
Absolutely.
So yeah. So here's hoping. Well, thank you for helping us make sense of these things.
Yes.
And just like playing in the sandbox. This is great.
Oh, it's great. It's so great to join you in your hotel room. It's great.
Thank you, Michael.
So
long overdue.
Yes.
Long overdue. So Steve, you think we
Yes.
should look for you in later in sometime March?
Yeah, I mean they could probably give you the day, but I know they're at least 5 months ahead. March, April, May, maybe. I don't even know. Like, so
yeah,
spring. I think they said spring of next year. Yeah,
sure.
So
well,
so looking forward to it. I know
to.
it's so strange to be working for 3 months and then it doesn't air for 3. It's so weird to me. But
yeah, it's
whatever.
a different. Yeah,
it's a different.
When you did Beyond Salem, it was how quick was it from when you?
It was from May to July. End of
that you were working, and then like it came up in July. And
July. Yeah, it was fast.
Yeah, it's like 2 or 3 weeks in May, and then it aired in July. Yeah, so that's not too long to wait.
That's not bad.
No.
But this is going to be long.
Yeah.
So,
well, you guys have a great rest of your.
Yeah, thank you, Michael. Where can everybody find you? Anywhere else we can send them?
Michael Fairman TV, Michael Fairman channel. All the Day of Days interviews are coming up there. Very short.
Oh, nice.
Tons of video interviews, music. I have a new song that's going to be dropping very soon.
Woo!
I've been working on this, and I'm really excited for the new single to come out. I think it'll be probably in January.
Okay.
Awesome.
So that's kind of what's going on.
Awesome, man. Well,
we appreciate
thank
you, brother. Thank you so much.
I mean, what a resource you are, and you always make it fun too. So thanks.
I don't know how I remember these things, but
I love that you do, because I don't. I need you. I need you, Michael.
Awesome, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Have a great day.
All right, bye,
buddy. Appreciate you.